Okay, did you define it in the first session?
No, I didn't.
All right, so when we head out towards the track, I'll remind you to start recording if you haven't already done that. And then when we're out on the track coming around onto the straightaway here between turn 10 and turn 1, I'll remind you to mark the finish line. And at that point, you just push that kind of grayed out switch in the lower right corner of the screen, and then we can ignore that device until we come off the track and turn it off. All right, so let's pull forward here. So car's in the manual mode there. Doug followed by John. Head on out here. Now, if you did mark your finish line earlier, you do not need to do it again. We'll do it once. So if this applies to both of you, then we'll make sure that happens here. All right, so as we come up towards these trailers on the right here, if you have not already started your video, that's kind of a mental reminder to get that video going so we don't forget to do that before we head out onto the track. All right, gentlemen, let's focus on the basics here. Getting our eyes up, looking ahead, keeping our hands on the wheel at 9 and 3. I'll call out the shift points the first few laps here just to remind you. So go ahead and follow me out here, and we'll work our way up through the gears to third gear as we come up closer to the track. And then we'll go to fourth gear just before we turn into the drop here. So we'll be in fourth gear to go down through the drop. Get the car turned, straighten the wheel up as you go down the hill, and then finish the turn after you've gone through the compression there. Excellent. Over here to the left, looking up to the right here. So we put our right tires on the blue and white curb next to this first cone and stay on the curb as we head down the hill. All right, coming out onto the straight, we'll upshift to fifth gear. All right, coming up to turn 5 here, we'll slow the car down, pull the left paddle, go back to fourth gear before we turn into the corner. Carry those light brakes a long way into the corner and start looking out the right side of your windshield. Look for that apex cone. Put your tires on the curb, and then as we leave the corner, straighten the wheel, squeeze on the throttle, and come over to the left side of the road. Left side of the road, right next to the white line. As we slow down for turn 6, pull the left paddle, go back to third gear. Come out no more than the middle of the road, and then back down to the apex at the far end of turn 6. Good. Looking through turn 7 here, we want to touch our curb there on the right. Start turn 8 from the middle of the road, drag the brakes lightly, and then set up on the left side of the road as we approach the hairpin. So turn 8 is only used to line us up for turn 9. All right, back down into the apex here. Look out the right side of your windshield. Now look down towards turn 10, sweep out next to the painted white line here. Upshift to fourth, and then we rest our foot lightly on the brakes as we turn into the corner, put our right tires on the curbing, and come all the way out to the left. Now, we're not going to do a shift here because I'm going to have you mark your finish line. So mark the finish line, that light gray switch in the lower right corner there. Push that, and then we can ignore that device until we shut them off at the end of the day. So we're in fourth gear here. That's the correct gear for turn 1. So look out the left side window, see where the apex is. Steer the car to the curb next to the orange cone. And then we accelerate out and we cross the hill here in the middle of the road. So as we crest the hill, middle of the road, and then back to third gear before we turn right. Now tune your head, look out the right side window, look up the hill, see where the road's going so we realize how tight a corner this is, know how much to move the wheel. Upshift back to fourth before we enter the drop. Get the car turned, straighten the wheel, accelerate down the drop. Light brakes into turn 4 here on the curb. Sweep to the outside, accelerate. Accelerate down the straight, upshift to fifth. So squeeze on the throttle, have some fun, burn some of our gas. All right, ease off the throttle, nice firm pressure on the brakes, and pull the left paddle back to fourth gear. Always finish our shift before we turn at the turning cone. All right, now look out the right side of your windshield here, Doug. We're going to touch the curb here, but we're looking up the hill. We're going to accelerate over to the left side of the road, then stay next to the white line. Start slowing the car down, and then pull the left paddle back to third gear, and then no more than the middle of the road, and then back down to the apex. Now notice my brake lights are on here as I'm turning into turn 8, resting my foot lightly on the brakes, no slowing down involved, just weight transfer. Now here we're slowing down before we turn, but back to that light braking as we enter the turn. Sweep all the way out to the left here as we squeeze on the throttle. Good, accelerate there, pull the right paddle, go to 4th gear, and then rest your foot lightly on the brakes as we enter turn 10. Get on the curb, Now accelerate hard, pull the right paddle, go to 5th gear, and then on the brakes, and before we turn left, shift back down to 4th gear with the left pedal. All right, now look out your left side window, look across the dirt there, see the apex cone over there, so we know our target. Put your tires on the curb, and then we can accelerate hard out to the middle of the road as we come over the hill here. A little farther to the right there. Back to 3rd for this hairpin turn. Sweep out to the left, and then back up to 4th before we turn into the drop. So get the car aimed, straighten the wheel, accelerate down the hill. Good, then light brakes as we enter turn 4. Ride the curb down the hill with your right tires on the curb. You'll feel a vibration, you'll hear a rumble. Perfect. Accelerate out, back up to 5th gear. Looking ahead here, we see the road turning to the right, so we're on our brakes, we're back to 4th gear. In the corner of our eye, we see the turning cone on the left, so we know it's time to turn, but we're already looking at the corner, so we know how much to turn the wheel. Now look up the hill as we come past the apex, so we know when to straighten the wheel and move over to the left. Slowing the car down, downshifting to 3rd, back to light brakes as we move out to the middle and turn a little sharper, down to the apex, and then we can accelerate for a moment as you straighten the wheel right there. Try that throttle steer right for that turn. Oh, coast right there, just coast, and you'll feel the car turning a little bit to the inside of the corner. All right, stay to the left here. So we're ready for the hairpin, but turn your head and use the right side passenger window. See where the road's going, so we're not surprised. Good, accelerate out of the corner, upshift back to 4th. Light brakes as we start turning into the corner here, right tires on the curb, and now accelerate out of the corner and upshift to 5th. Ease off the throttle, nice firm push on the brakes, back down to 4th gear. Light brakes as we enter the corner. Now turn your head so you see the apex and we know our target. Keep moving that wheel to get to the apex. And right at the end there, you can try throttle steer. Just coast for a moment. You'll feel the car turn. Now accelerate, middle of the road as we go over the hill. Yeah, a little farther to the right there. So start unwinding at the apex. And as you're accelerating, it'll move the car naturally out to the middle of the road. All right, back up to 4th gear before we go into the drop. Get the car turned, straighten the wheel, accelerate down the hill. Light brakes into turn 4 just to get the car started to turn on the curb on the downhill side. And all the way out to the left. All right, we're going to do a rotation here, Doug, so over to the right side of the track, if you would, please. Come on through there, John. So we want to be up to 5th and back to 4th for turn 5 here. All right, light brakes into the corner. Now, use the right side of your windshield. Look down the hill. Keep looking around the corner. The sooner we see that apex, the sooner we can start planning our path to get there. Good. Now, look ahead. We're going to unwind over to the left side of the road as we accelerate. Then we'll slow down still, staying to the left. Back to 3rd gear, and then light brakes here as we turn a little sharper from the middle of the road down to the apex. Now you can accelerate for a moment. Accelerate, and as you turn into the corner, come off the gas and coast for a moment. You'll feel that car throttle steer. Light brakes here as we set up on the left side of the road for turn 9. All right, now look across out the right side of your windshield. Look out the right side window. See the big picture so we can plan our path through this part of the track. And accelerate over to the left. Yep, accelerate. and back up to fourth gear, and then drag the brakes lightly as we enter turn 10, but put your right tires on the blue and white curb. We're going to add some black rubber to that curbing. Accelerate there, up to fifth gear. Back over to the right. Nice firm push on the brakes to begin slowing down, and downshift back to fourth gear with the left paddle. Now look out the left side window. Halfway around the corner, all four tires on the inner lane of asphalt. Get on the curb here next to the cone, and then begin accelerating and cross the hill in the middle of the road. Middle of the road as you go over the rise. Perfect, there you go. Braking and downshifting to third. Look up the right there, look over your shoulder, see where the road's going. All the way out to the left, and right where I am here, upshift back to fourth. The car turned into the drop, straighten the wheel, accelerate down the hill, and then finish the turn. Light brakes into four, but look up there and see the apex, so that's our target. On the curb next to that cone. Stay on the curb down the hill, accelerate, good. Squeeze on that gas, accelerate, and upshift to fifth. Then we'll ease off the throttle, nice firm push on the brakes, and before the turning cone, downshift back to fourth. All right, middle of the road here, start looking for that apex so we can visualize what we're going to do after we touch the curb. On the curb, look up the hill, accelerate away, back to the left side of the track. Get closer to the white line. See how close I am to the white line there? Yeah, you're several feet away from it as we're coming up the hill there. So look farther ahead, straighten up the wheel a little sooner. Now look through turn 7 here. We're going to clip the apex here, but we see turn 8 turning to the left up there. So I want to be in the middle of the road here as I brush the brakes and then turn tighter to the left side of the track so we're ready for turn 9. Now you can accelerate for a moment, right there. Accelerate for a moment, then on the brakes, and then light brakes as you turn into the corner. Good, start accelerating again. Pull the right paddle, go to fourth gear, and then light brakes into the corner. Right tires on the curbing. Accelerate out of the corner, pull the right paddle, go to fifth. Nice firm push on the brakes. Back to fourth before we turn, but start looking out the left side window. Look across the dirt there, see that cone over there? That's our target. Get closer to the inside of the corner, get your tires on the curb. Now follow me out here, the middle of the road as you accelerate off the corner. There you go, that's better. Now back down to third, but start looking out the right side window. See where the road climbs back up the hill there. Head back to fourth gear, start looking across the drop, get lined up, straighten the wheel, accelerate down the hill, and then finish the turn. Light brakes into four, tires on the curb starting at the top of the hill here. So feel the vibration, hear the rumble. Not bad, good, accelerate out, back up to fifth. Nice firm push on the brakes, and right around the number 1 board, pull the left paddle, go back to fourth gear. Now look to the right. Think about how we're going to leave turn 6 and end up on the left side of the road. We're going to leave turn 5 and end up on the left side of the road. So accelerate. See how I'm accelerating over to the left here? Now I'm going straight, and now I'm next to the white line. There you go. Back down to third before we turn sharper to the left now. Out to the middle only, and then back down to the apex. Look ahead now. See turn 7 turning to the right, and then you'll see turn 8 turning to the left. Light brakes here, starting from the middle of the road, finish on the left side of the road, and then you can accelerate for a moment as you straighten the wheel. So right now, accelerate, and then on the brakes. Light brakes into the turns, get to the apex, start squeezing on the throttle as we unwind the steering, and back up to fourth gear. Setting up here at the apex. Now look ahead. We're going to accelerate away from the apex and over the crest of the hill in the middle of the road. Good. Braking and downshifting, setting up on the left. Look out the right side window so we can plan our exit from the hairpin. And back up to fourth gear. Straighten the wheel as you accelerate down the hill. And then light brake pressure as we climb the hill, starting turn 4, then back to light throttle, get on the curb here. Nice job last time, let's do that again. Accelerate down the straight, back up to fifth gear. Yeah, accelerate hard, have some fun with these things on the straight. The brakes are really good. Remember, the first push on the brakes is the firmest push, so the car immediately starts slowing down, and then we can adjust our speed to our comfort level as we're approaching the corner. But the first push on the brakes has to be firm. We can't ease into it. We want to get that process started right away. So right here, my brake lights come on, I feel the car slowing down, and I'm doing a downshift to third gear. Light brakes here, but start looking out the side window so we can see the hairpin up there in the distance. As we slow down for the hairpin, turn your head, look out the right side window, see the big picture. Sweep all the way out to the left. Alright, braking straight down to fourth gear, and we're going to start a cool down lap right now. So leave it in fourth gear, but don't lose your focus. We're still hitting our marks. Get onto the apex curbs, drive on the curbs, put the car where it needs to be as you're leaving the corners and approaching the corners. Right, turn your head, keep your hands at the 9 and 3 position so we never reposition our hands on the steering wheel. We can get around the whole track with our hands in that same place. Alright. Practice that light braking as we're going around at this reduced speed. Light brakes as we turn into the corners. And if you feel the car slowing down, you're pushing too hard on the brakes. So here at the other end of the straight, we're going to carry light braking into turn 5. So brake lights will be on, but there should be no sensation of the car slowing down. So literally at the very top of the travel of the brake pedal. So brake lights on, without slowing the car down, and carry that light braking around the corner and part way down the hill. So that's what we do. That's the exact pressure we want to use when we're trying to go faster. So we're going to do that again down here in turn 6. So we'll set up on the left side of the road here, next to the white lines with your left tires. And then light brakes as we turn into turn 6 here without slowing the car down. So if there's a car behind you, they should see brake lights, but you should not feel the car slowing down. Now we're going to do that again here for turn 10, or turn 8. Light brakes, setting up on the left side of the track, but don't slow the car down. And again for turn 9, light brakes as we start turning into the corner. So we want to make that a habit. Anytime we're turning into a corner, pretty much, we want to have our foot lightly on the brake pedal. All right, turn signals on as we come to the left side of the track.